Welcome to this explainer. All right, grab your notebooks because today we're putting on our coaching hats. We're going to analyze exactly why elite football systems, the ones that look absolutely flawless on a tactical chalkboard, so often crumble under the massive weight of tournament pressure. If you're an aspiring coach, or honestly just a serious student of the game, consider this a masterclass in the intense tension between perfect tactics and pure tournament chaos. Let's get into it. So let's kick things off with the ultimate question. Who actually stays calm when the whole world is watching? Because every single time a major tournament rolls around, we fall for the exact same illusion. We think we know what's going to happen. But as we'll see today, predicting a world champion isn't just about finding who has the best technical skill on paper. It's about answering this one crucial question, which literally dictates whether a massive favorite lifts the trophy or completely collapses under the stadium lights.
Here's our syllabus for today's masterclass. We'll cover the illusion of prediction, technical systems of giants, the weight of history, the underdog blueprint, comfort versus chaos, and finally, survival over skill. We're going to deconstruct the giants and see exactly how chaotic underdogs disrupt the whole shebang.
All right, Section 1. The illusion of prediction and why football simply doesn't follow logic.
Moving right along to Section 2, Technical Systems of Giants, where we'll analyze the top 5 favorites.
Let's compare the technical playing styles of these 5 giants side by side. Just look at the sheer variety in how they establish midfield control and team structure. You've got Spain operating with this automatic rhythm, possession, and totally fearless youth. Then there's France, boasting overwhelming world-class depth in literally every single line. They don't even need perfection. They just need time for their talent to take over. Over here, you have Portugal pairing defensive stability with supreme midfield intelligence. Argentina brings a midfield built strictly on chemistry and control, and then there's Brazil, built entirely on balance and discipline. As coaches, looking at these top 5 proves there is no single right way to build an elite system. Every single one has its own unique tactical identity.
And this really brilliantly illustrates how a team like Brazil had to actively evolve their tactical identity. I mean, the last time they ruled the world feels like a totally different era, right? To overcome the tournament burnout that's plagued them recently, they had to completely restructure. They actually replaced their historical chaos with some much-needed balance. They implemented stricter tactical discipline while somehow, and this is the crazy part, retaining that unstoppable explosive attack that can flip a game in seconds. It's a completely fascinating case study in how you adapt a national identity to survive modern knockout football.
That brings us to Section 3, the weight of history and the immense mental pressure on the elite.
Just take a look at the number 5. Those 5 stars on Brazil's shirt, they represent decades of incredibly heavy expectation. On their best day, sure, their structure is absolutely unstoppable, but the pressure of past failures follows them like a shadow. It just goes to show that tournament favorites don't merely play against the 11 opponents on the pitch. They play against memory. They are up against the immense weight of their own past failures.
The crucial point here is understanding how this mental weight impacts different types of players. Let's contrast Portugal and Spain for a second. Portugal finally has a system built on depth and control, but the whole narrative circles back to one veteran legend playing one last tournament. They're fighting the intense mental pressure of the quarterfinals, a barrier they haven't broken in years. Now contrast that heavy, legacy-defining pressure with Spain's fearless youth. Spain's new generation arrived early. They're taking control of the biggest stages without carrying decades of baggage. It's this brilliant psychological battle, trying to overcome a historic curse versus playing with the absolute unburdened freedom of youth.
Furthermore, if we look at the reigning champs, Argentina shows us that defending a title remains statistically brutal for modern giants. I mean, very few teams ever successfully defend the crown. Why is that? Well, because the psychology completely shifts. When Argentina made their original climb, they were kind of a surprise, right? Built on immense team belief. But now, the squad is older, heavier with expectation, and most importantly, they aren't the surprise anymore. They are the target. Every single tactical plan designed by their opponents is now built specifically to tear them down.
Section 4, the underdog blueprint, and exactly how these overlooked disruptors break the structure.
For the aspiring coaches watching, really lock in on this definition. Tournament disruption is relying on defensive compactness and structured discipline to deliberately frustrate elite attacking teams and break their rhythm. This hits the nail on the head for our underdog blueprint. Look, when your team lacks superstar power, you simply can't rely on individual reputation. You have to rely on immense team belief, relentless momentum, and a defensive structure that is basically unbreakable.
Notice this stark contrast here. On one side, you've got the elite attacking systems, possession-heavy, built on rhythm and technical superiority. Think Spain or France. On the flip side, you have the disciplined, defensive styles of the underdogs. They don't need the ball to win. They just need to be tactically compact and incredibly hard to break down. You know, expert predictions almost always favor the possession-heavy giants, and yet those predictions continually fail against a disciplined, defensive-minded squad that just absolutely refuses to break.
Let's look at the specific traits of these disruptors with 3 prime examples. First, Ecuador. Quiet, tactically compact, with a defensively strong structure that completely overlooks individual stars. Then there's Turkey. Young, explosive, capable of deciding matches out of nowhere, and super dangerous precisely because no one expects them to go far. And Morocco. Totally fearless in transitions, relying on early momentum, and this deep-seated team belief. These specific traits are exactly what allow them to survive. They're the ultimate proof that an overlooked squad, armed with absolute team belief, can completely shatter the most perfectly designed elite system.
Okay, moving to our 5th section, comfort versus tournament chaos, and what happens when the plan completely falls apart.
I really want you to absorb this concept. Tournaments are not won in comfort. They are won in chaos. Honestly, this is the true cornerstone of our explainer today. Take Spain, for example. Their beautiful technical precision and automatic rhythm, spectacular. But none of that matters, literally none of it, if they can't adapt when the match becomes highly physical, slow, and deeply uncomfortable. The debate isn't whether these elite teams are good. Obviously they are. The debate is whether they can function when their comfort zone is actively ripped away from them.
For the coaches out there analyzing this, here is the anatomy of a breakdown. This is the exact step-by-step process of how disciplined underdogs force a giant into a chaotic collapse. Step 1. The match becomes highly physical and uncomfortable, which is usually initiated by the underdog's deep defensive structure. Step 2. The elite attacking system completely loses its possession rhythm. Those automatic passes, they just stop working. And Step 3. As frustration builds, pressure and chaos rise, and the underdog starts causing massive problems in transition. It is a proven, battle-tested blueprint for dismantling technical superiority.
Finally, we arrive at Section 6. Survival over technical skill. The absolute crucible of knockout football. Look at this timeline of Argentina's recent climb to the top. Notice how it didn't start with perfect, sweeping football. No, it started with chaos. In the middle, it required surviving high-stakes penalties. It peaked in pure drama, and finally it ended in glory. Argentina already proved this timeline to be true. When matches get incredibly close, it's individual mental resilience and composure under immense pressure, like staring down the barrel of a penalty shootout, that actually gets you to the mountaintop. It's definitely not about what the tactical spreadsheet says.
So the absolutely crucial takeaway here is this. Tournaments reward survival, not predictions. When individual composure starts to crack under those blinding lights, the reward doesn't go to the team with the highest expected goals on paper. The trophy goes to whoever is still standing when everything else falls apart. It's exactly why the game of football will continually and beautifully ignore logic.
I'll leave you with this provocative thought to analyze for your own tactical setups. Once that referee's whistle blows, are you relying entirely on your technical plan or on your team's raw ability to survive the chaos? Think about how you build your squads, because tomorrow, football will do what it always does. It will ignore every single prediction. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer, and I'll see you next time as we decode another masterclass.